care because I'm not in the business of fucking talking common sense that not gonna understand anyway.
No bad parts in America where there's no black people, there's no problem.
Why are a lot of school shootings by white kids?
Matters, but it's not.
I mean, if not everything is race, then why does he say that white people are better than black people and African people?
Are you ready? Are we ready? Are we ready?
God, he's sassy.
Are we ready?
Right, he's so
Okay,
sassy.
good. We're ready. We're good. Doesn't matter. Like everything is race, dude. This is so retarded that you just bring everything down to race.
I didn't do this. This motherfucker came out the cut calling me all types of slurs.
I've been called a terrorist. I've been told this, that. You need to understand, right? These are the most closed-minded, ignorant people that you're
So
ever
you
gonna...
join them. This nigga said if you can't beat them, join
And so
them.
you agree with them? And you
No, but listen, no. I don't
like,
agree with that.
hello?
Oh, wait, no, look, hear him out. Wait. Let him finish.
Let me finish my point, yeah? Let me finish my point. You will never get through to these people. There's no point taking them seriously, yeah? Most of these guys are autistic. Wallahi, I'm not even joking. Most of these guys are autistic, right? They have no life apart from the internet. So you sitting here and trying to get through to them logically, it's never gonna work.
You're here forever, Risky.
It's never gonna work.
Hold on, let me
can't get through to these people. You can't get through to them.
So let me ask you, so are you just bullshitting and you just don't care?
I do care. 100. Why do you think I'm here? Of course I care about race politics.
I mean, like, are you just like
Can't even get
bullshitting?
through to your own race, Risky, but yeah, you're calling us schizos. That's hilarious.
Like you know that they're like ignorant as fuck, right? You know they're ignorant as fuck. So you just bullshitting. You just bullshitting pretty much.
What do you mean by bullshit?
Nah, I mean like you just like going through the motions, like because you
No,
yourself
I argue
know.
with them every day. I argue with them every day, bro.
But if you know that
Dre,
they're ignorant as fuck and nothing's gonna
why did
happen,
you
then
inflate
why?
the lifeboats?
Huh?
I know. I'm just fucking with you because I think it's funny.
It's a public server, Nova.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Oh,
I understand what.
I'm giving you shit as the
What
owner
I'm
because
saying
it
to you,
seems
what I'm
like
saying
you
to you-
just handed all these Ethiopian migrants
What I'm saying to you is, yeah,
like life.
if you think you can come here and try to speak logically to them, it will never happen. They'll always have an answer.
No, nobody wants to
They'll always
speak
have an
ugly.
answer. They'll always think of something to say, and then when they run out of things to say, they're gonna call you insults and they're gonna call you nigger.
Risky, to be fair, was I that way when you talked to me?
Yeah, actually, hold on. No, the guy with the dog. I wanted to talk to him too because he seemed like he
For
had,
sure, brother.
Yeah, no, because from what I've gotten from this is that some of y'all, not everyone, but some of y'all are a bit on the close-ended side, but some people like them two, from what I've seen,
Well, I'm a Nazi.
are at least a little more open-minded than that, not so surface level.
If you would like,
So-
you asked if you'd like to drag you.
If you want to
I can take you to
I would
his DNA. If you can tell me who you want to take with you.
Zen
Alright,
is right.
Many minutes later.
I can even tell you right now, we're all equal in spirit. However, I would challenge this one idea. If you have, right, multiple different haplogroups and ethnic makeups of people evolving, right? Do you believe in evolution? Actually, this is a good question.
That's one thing I do not believe in. No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we could look at it from a creationist standpoint. You were specifically designed by God to adapt to the environment in which you sprouted from. For example, if you have 3 groups of people, split not only by ocean, but, mountainous land mark barriers, and you evolve to entirely different environments and climates, which it requires different levels of cognitive function and also strategizing. Do you truly believe that we would have all been made absolutely completely equal in biology? Like, for example, somebody living in the Ice Age versus someone living in a desert. One person's going to have clear, even visible
scientifically, no one is like on equal playing field. That's true. No
right.
one is.
Like, for example, you could be better at chess than I am, right? And I could train just as hard as you, if not more. And some people genuinely have genetic predispositions to be better at certain sports. I mean, look at the Olympics. Who dominates track and field? Like, this is not something that we can, pretend doesn't happen. Same with the different sexes, right? When you have 2, a man and a woman competing in a specific sport, one has a genetic advantage. So when we look at from a genetic perspective, the way I see it is I don't see you as subhuman. I don't see you as less than human. I just see you as different. And I believe that society should accommodate both of our needs. And that does not mean affirmative care. That doesn't mean giving you the material which we have. Because here, let's just be real. If you go to a random person in Africa and you give them $1 million and a bunch of material, they're not going to know exactly what to do with it. They need the proper education. They need education which is accustomed to them. We shouldn't lower the standard of education for everybody. We should have specific education systems structured to advocate for your benefit and your negative. Well, I'll give another thing here. Yeah, what demographic of people do you think outperforms everybody else, whites and blacks and everybody, in academia?
In academics, okay, no, this is probably gonna have to go to Asian people. It's probably gonna have
Chinese.
To go to Asian
Nah, that's
people.
true. You know, I can't lie. That's true.
Yeah, Chinese outperform completely. Now, if you go to China,
even
what you realize,
Indians, bro, even Indians.
yeah, even Indians,
Yeah,
that whole region of
like,
the world.
Asia East, yeah,
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What about Indians?
they do better in
both
school
Asians
What
than
about
them.
Asians?
They do
What
be-
about Asians?
Yo, are y'all not listening? Yo, they do
No,
better.
I
in-
am.
I'm
I
not,
heard y'all say
nigga.
that
I'm not.
I
Asian
refuse
is
to believe that's a
race.
real
Well,
voice.
I'll explain. So you guys outperform any other race in academia. This is true across the board. Look at America. You're always going to be at the top of the bracket. I mean, think about it. Okay, in the world, we had a robot building competition and a mathematics international competition. Guess who won? It was a group of Chinese Americans versus Chinese. Like it's like at the end of the day, the groups are always going to match up based on your genetic ups and downs. So now we can look at China as a society, right? China as a society manifested and was constructed entirely different than, let's just say, Europe or Africa. Why? Because culture, right? What we perceive as culture, what we perceive as civilization is just whatever best benefits the in-group. If you're living in Africa, you're not necessarily going to need the exact same innovations as a Chinese man will living in China. Africans might need more shade, right? They might need more filtered air or ways to cool themselves off. They might need to live closer to water, all these things. They might not prioritize the aqueducts as much. There are different steps in history which we have taken. The point I'm trying to make here is China, people wonder, why is China so successful? Well, I'll tell you why, and why they're outperforming any other nation on almost every margin, and America is dropping like flies when it comes to our stats, is because China's society is specifically built for one group of people who've all evolved together. They're literally almost identical when it comes to their genetics. And because of this, they're able to outperform. For example, China doesn't have to lower their standard of education. China's standard of education is almost triple the American. America, from 1960 to 1990, had to drop by about 25% their standard of education after desegregation. Now, this isn't an insult. This is just me saying that, yeah, at the end of the day, we have different limitations. Like, for example, I don't know if you know this, but during the time of segregation, when, African people actually had a right to their own business and their own academics, in the 1950s, Africans were more educated on average than today. On top of that, on a proportional level, the African economy, because guess what? They got to have their own economy. It was almost surpassing the white economy proportionally. Why? Because they weren't being exploited by white people. Their businesses were entirely owned by themselves. They had full independence over their own finance. Now that ended whenever we decided to mix all of the business, because then what happened? Your new CEOs were white. Your new CEOs were Jewish and white, not black, and so that left black people at a disadvantage. Now this is socioeconomic too. I'm not going to deny, right? I don't think all of this is because of race. The CIA planted drugs in your communities, during the Reagan administration. The CIA, after segregation, utilized this to create low-income areas to trap black people in them. There's also a reason why abortion specifically targeted Africans in the 70s and 80s. So I'm not telling you that, okay, your genetics are going to predestine your life. I'm saying that if we're going to be honest about civilization, we must also understand that we are different, and that if we're going to create a society which works the best, like we see in China, even if we don't agree with their morality, right? I don't like the CCP. I'm just talking about how they structure their academia. We would need to accommodate for each other's needs.
Okay, I can understand your logic. I understand your logic. Your logic makes sense.
I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to kill you. I'm not these type of TNT people,
Oh no. See, nothing out of everything you just said. There was nothing that you said just now that invalidated anybody, right?
Right, of course.
We're all children of God. The whole reason this started, because we entered here, right? Off the rib, got called a slur, and a bunch of confusion and chaos ensued.
Can I say how it started?
Wait, hold on, I'm not done. Wait, I'm not done.
Okay.
Ensued, and then I asked the other guy who's not here. I asked, at least just tell me why you're racist. Not even what you do, just why you do it. And he met me with a bunch of biased statistics of white people studying black people,
right?
Which
is biased.
Which you can say as many numbers as you want, but all that becomes null and void based on the mindset of the person who wrote it.
Right. And that's why I stay away from studies and statistics at the start. I think the best way to understand how we're different is just look at the history, right? Look at civilization and how it forms. It's much easier to pinpoint that. You don't need a piece of paper, right, that has like a million different words you don't even recognize, written by somebody that might have a bias. We can observe these things in real life. I mean, there's always going to be an in-group bias. I don't know if it was the same with you. Like when I went to high school, for example, the cafeteria was split, not like forced. We just naturally split. You had the Hispanics and the Africans at one table, and for some reason the Hispanics hated the blacks and the blacks hated the Hispanics. They always had this weird feud. But I would always sit, like I would be the white, quiet kid who would sit with the rest of the quiet Asian kids. And so since a young age, I just saw it. I recognized, I didn't think it was ever bad. As a Christian, I don't think it's ever bad. But what is true is that we're unique. Black people say this all the time. They have unique culture. They have unique history. And I believe they deserve to celebrate it. What I don't like to see is in multicultural societies, like I said, when you guys were stripped of your private business and then were absorbed by larger businesses already owned by predatory people, they began to exploit your labor. I think you should own your labor. I think your labor should be yours. You should be allowed to choose what you do with your finances. Like, look at the music industry. Your very culture has been hijacked. You know, where you get your culture, what was what used to be a black culture
about the music industry
is now no longer. It's Hollywood. It's been completely taken over by the finance industry. I don't think that's fair for you guys.
When you say the music industry, do you think that the niggas are the most like diverse when it comes
if that
to
makes
like,
sense?
Like we create music, we invest in acting, athletics.
Oh, do you say Javon?
Yeah, you tagged me. You said the big black nigga. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what were you talking about?
You guys can turn down.
Also, Bambi, what did you want to say? Let's let her say what she wanted to say.
Can I finally talk? Okay, so basically, I was trying to say like. Cherry blossom iced tea. Cherry blossom iced tea. Say like, okay, I first came here. I was hostile because that nigga put me in jail, like that, and I was like, why did you put me in jail? Like, hello, like I was like, why am I in jail? Like what? And then when I came, and then in the calling me the N-word, like if you kept calling me the N-word, I'm like, oh, like with T, like with, like, because I was trying to be nice,
right?
And then like when I came in here, like. Whatever his name is, Smiley, he just kept doing it. I'm like, and then like this British dude was in my ear, like it was just too much. I was like, okay, like
one thing I will say is that they
wait, let me finish. Go ahead. And he was like not making sense. Like he kept saying like, oh, it's about how you're raised. I was literally raised in the suburb. I live in the suburb right now. I'm literally part Asian. Like I am a nice calm black
calm
girl,
is
like
a fucking stretch. Hold on.
She's calm, nigga, like she said.
But did you see what I mean? This is
she single-handedly managed to prove every single stereotype correctly.
Like it's just when people like it's like when y'all wasn't like
I'll just wrap up the point. I'll just wrap up.
Bro,
you know the way she was ranting, and you know what they heard? They heard. That's all they heard.
I'm sorry, but like, fuck up.
I don't want to
They saw a monkey, bro.
I feel like you've already, I've told you what I believe. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time.
Okay.
Hello, she wasn't done.
Bro, can I talk? Like, okay.
So are we gonna end racism today?
Okay, bro, anyway. So then, like, and also when I came in, it's just like, I don't know what the vibes were.
If you stopped saying like, we would be done by like an hour ago. So can we just
real?
Okay.
Okay. I do want to say something.
Yeah.
So the other guy, he kept trying to make the narrative that, based on how she was acting, represents all of us, which isn't true. Because I said if that was true, then why am I not loud like she is? Right.
I mean,
are we still talking about this shit?
No. I'm talking about. I'm explaining. Listen. I'm explaining what happened because he wasn't there for that part.
People will come to conclusions. Now, here's my reasoning: is when you especially have the mindset that I do, right? you're going to be like just predisposed in your ideology to jump to assumptions based off of personal bias. Now, does that mean necessarily that Dova was incorrect in saying that? I don't know, because I've never met every single black woman in the world, however, or Asian. Sorry, but when it comes to categorization, I don't believe in. I'm going to say this: categorizing micro traits. I can categorize things that I can see on like an economic level, right? Like I was talking to you about. They're huge and great performance in academia when they were actually allowed to flourish under their own leadership. That I can view, and I don't want to like derail. I don't want to like yap your ear off like I was saying before. I'll just wrap it up here. You know, I've articulated what I believe. I would say if you were going to ask me what I am, he claims to be a Nazi. I've definitely separated myself from that. I'm a segregationist at the end of the day, and I'm a segregationist not because I hate other races, but because I believe each should have the opportunity to privately and independently own their own businesses, companies, and finance, and because I personally want the best for all races.
You know, I will say with you, I'm like on the positive end of the spectrum. I'm your direct opposite. I feel like all of us collectively can all blend in with each other. Do we all have differences and uniqueness? Yes. Everyone can do something better than others. Everyone has a strength and a weakness. I feel like everyone should be able, as people, regardless of race, regardless of anything, just as people, should be able to blend together. We should.
I agree.
If you can't blend together, right? Like if you can't blend together,
what makes you think that?
Then,
I mean, we're
no,
violent, fucking monkey people, all of us.
Well, again, humans as creatures have a natural tendency
I have a question
to
though.
do
Why is he
certain
muted?
things.
Okay, I'll unmute him. Before I unmute him, though, there is a reason why I muted this guy. He is a bit of a yapper, and he's also going to. I'm going to be kind about it because I know people are going to probably hop on the Javon train here. He also is like he chronically lies. Okay, that's like another thing. So I'll unmute him, but I'm just letting you guys know. You guys can mute him yourself. If he starts talking over you, just turn him down. I'll unmute him.
I won't talk over anyone. Go ahead.
That's tough.
Yeah, I don't lie about it. I just don't understand why you think we're all gonna kumbaya. Like,
thing is.
No, he's saying that we should.
No, thing is, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. Frankly, I'm moderately like gray. Like morally speaking, I'm neutral in life. I'm not very positive or negative. I'm just very in the middle. So I'm not saying that everyone is going to meld together, right? Logically speaking,
primates suck. Primates are violent fucking creatures,
right? It's pretty impossible logically.
Well, we do have one thing in common, though, Popcorn, which can support this idea, which is that we're both Christian. I mean, that we both do believe that innately we're children of God. There you go. There we go.
Right.
Now,
I'm not Christian.
This is from a Christian perspective.
Alhamdulillah.
They're like, how can you hold these views, right? How can you think the way you do while also being a devout follower of Christ?
Yeah. I've actually been asked that before. People have asked me like, how are you so like in the middle and like open to certain things, but also believe in? It's because frankly, I don't agree with the types of Christians that are like stonewalled to almost a point to where like it's a dead end regardless. Like people in my family are like that. I'm not. Like I'm pretty open minded. There's some things where it's like, okay, what are we doing? But
like someone calling you the N-word.
But I'm pretty open to majority of things. Regardless, though, doesn't mean I'm gonna always agree with it. But that doesn't mean that just because I don't agree with it, we can't be cool or we can't be friends.
Well, that's extremely respectful.
Hence my belief of everyone as people, regardless of race, belief, anything, should.
Do you know the story of the Tower of Babel from the Bible?
I do. Actually, I do know
that. Yeah, when they departed the languages.
A justification for a reason I think the way I do is you probably already know this too. When the Bible, it talks about nations, right? Nations, which come from tribes. These nations, right, aren't just, it's not defined by borders. You don't just go to like a square in the desert and that's the nation of the Jews,
it's the people within the nation that make up the nation. Yes.
It's the people. Now that's where the original concept of nationalism came from. It had nothing to do with borders. It had to do with your relationship between your fellow man, which was divinely given to you as by God to basically be your extended family, right? Your inner tribe, people whom you love and whom love you back, right? So there's a sacred aspect to it. But where I'm going with this is, in my perfect world, and you may disagree with it, that's fine. But in my perfect world, we would be, and of course, once again, hypothetical, we would be able to coexist. We'd be able to coexist spiritually, united by faith with a universal church. I'm a Catholic, so I would say Catholic Church, but this is just my hypothetical. And we would be, though, united in nations. So this comes down to the original biblical teachings, like the story of the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel, as you know, all of humanity united, right? They split from their nations and united under one nation. And because of this, they believed themselves out of ego to be greater than God and decided they no longer needed him and tried to build a tower to heaven. Pretty, in some ways similar to, the tech billionaires attempting to, make a heaven using a singularity, right? Or making like a digital heaven and downloading their consciousness. But that aside, what happened to these people? Well, what did God do? He specifically, he took them.
Yeah,
and
he mixed up the languages so they wouldn't be able to understand each other. That's why you have, since we have Spanish, Japanese, Mandarin, all these different languages.
Now, these languages were not just randomly, thrown around. These languages were specifically placed back on the nations of people to replace them within God's divine design. Now, here's the beautiful thing about Christianity: is the point of a universal church isn't to divide and hate each other, right? Not at all. It isn't the idea of looking at a black person and saying, you're an N-word and I hate you. The point of it is to live within your nation, united by faith. That is the point. I'm an advocate for, if we were ever to live in this society, for example, like a basic principle I have is like Europe for the Europeans, that sort of mindset, but around the world. If we were to live in this society, then I am not going to deny other races the chance to also succeed. I think that it's actually the obligation as children of God to support each other and eventually creating the kingdom of God on earth through international trading, through open dialogue, open communication. At the root core, at the end of the day, because of what you see in Western media, and because of your interpretations of segregation from, low-level education, it's always going to be at first negative, right? And I'm not sitting here denying, black people being mistreated. Like nobody deserves to be sprayed down by a hose, right? For sitting on a counter. However, what happened, though, is you have to realize America was never inherently a Christian country. It was at the start to an extent, but the majority of the founding fathers were Freemasons. Later on, it became a secular country, so segregation wasn't even properly being manifested. Like, who thought it would be a good idea to have black and white drinking fountains? That's retarded. There's nothing there of substance. I'm not promoting, like, parks, right, where you can't go there and see other people. I'm looking at this from an economic perspective. I think that finance in this world and the material, you need two things. You need Jesus Christ, and you need to be able to utilize the material to do as much good as possible before you die. Well, it's hard for black people to do that when they're stripped of the opportunity to have strong finances. And in order for them to do so, they have to play into a system made for white people, right? When you see black businessmen, they're hard-ass workers. They climbed up the capitalist ladder. But at the same time, a lot of the time, they're very disconnected from their culture because they've had to sacrifice a part of themselves to mix into another culture. I don't like that. If I was a white person in China, I would feel pretty shitty, right? Like if I decided to climb up the Chinese ladder. Yeah, sorry.
Hey Zen, two things you said. Did you say Christianity doesn't bring?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read a verse for you. It says, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword for those that have set against his father and a daughter against her mother and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law."
I forgot you guys don't have Javon.
Yeah. That was just what I wanted to add, because you said that Christianity brings like peace and unity, which is actually quite the opposite in my opinion. I think it brings.
Right, but Javon, you're a Christian who has like multiple baby mamas.
You what? Multiple baby mamas.